He said, when I tried to understand all this, it troubled me deeply. Like I couldn't wrap my brain around it. I mulled over it and I just wore myself out thinking about it. Till. And this is his turning point. This is where his perspective changes. Till I entered the sanctuary of God. You know what he's saying? Like I was wrestling with this stuff. This is where my mind was. Man, I was off track. I mean, look at what I've written here. This is bad. And this is how I thought, and this is how I felt until I went to church. See, that's what he's saying. In the Old Testament, he went into the presence of God. That was either at the tabernacle or later at the temple. That's where God promised that he would meet us. And so that's where he goes. And he walks in and he smells the smells of worship for the nation of Israel. And he hears the sound of the sacrifice. And then the choirs begin to lift their voices and they're singing the songs that he and David have written. And he has a major change in perspective. You know, when you doubt, when you're discouraged, when you get disappointed, and when you're even bitter, you need to go to the place where God has promised that he will be. You need to go to the place that God promised that he would meet you in his word and among his people. And that's exactly what Asaph does here. Till I entered the sanctuary of God, then I understood their final destiny. Can I just tell you, don't listen to the preacher who promises your best life now. Don't listen to that guy. You know what Asaph would say? Asaph would say the only person who gets their best life now are those who are destined for hell. See, this is the best day for them. And what I've been doing up to this point is I've been comparing my worst day with their best day. And of course, they're not benefiting from where I stand with God at all because I'm envious of them. I mean, as bad as it gets in this world, that's as bad as it'll ever get for the follower of Christ. I mean, we get to be with him forever. He is enough. He is enough. And that's what he gets to the point where he understands that when he sees that this person's best day is my worst day. He says, surely you place them on a slippery ground. You cast them down to ruin. How suddenly are they destroyed, completely swept away by terrors. What he's saying here is God doesn't work on your timetable. He doesn't have to follow your schedule of when things need to be just or not. They are like a dream when one awakes. When you arise, Lord, you will despise them as fantasies. Like they're reduced to nothing. They're as insubstantial as a dream that you wake up from and you can hardly put the pieces together in your mind. When my heart was grieved and my spirit embittered, I was senseless and ignorant. I was a brute beast before you. Yet, and here's this perspective change, I am always with you. And you hold me by my right hand. Like, he holds us by his right hand. Like, I don't know if it's new for you, but like when you come into a church and you see people with their hands lifted up and you wonder what is that? I mean, those of you in here who are parents, y'all should know what that is, right? Like the best hour of the day for me when I was a parent of young children was when I get home around 5:30 in the afternoon. I would walk in the door and my door would ding because I had a little alarm on it. And I would hear those awesome words, Daddy's home, Daddy. And my kids, Riley, Bo, and Emma, would run up to me and they would lift their hands. What were they saying? They were saying, Daddy, hold me. I want you. I want to be near you. And when you see people in worship lifting their hands, which is told us, it commanded us to do in Scripture and in the Psalms, what they're saying is, Father, I want you. I want to be near you. I want to be close to you. You hold my right hand. You guide me with your counsel. And afterward, you take me into glory. That word afterward, the same root word is used in verse 17 when it talks about the final destiny of the wicked. What he's saying here is this. He's saying, when I understood, like I was feeling this way and I was mulling over this and I was off track till I understood their afterward. Like I was envious of these people till I understood their afterward. And now I understand also my afterward. Their best day is my worst day. Whom have I in heaven but you? And earth has nothing I desire besides you. God, you're it. You make heaven, heaven. You make life worth living. You are it. I mean, think about it. In heaven, if you could remove the presence of God from heaven, then heaven would simply be hell with a better zip code. What's glorious about heaven is that we will see His face. What's amazing about heaven is that we will be in the presence of God. We will finally see what our hearts have longed for year after year after year. We are created for one person, God, and we are created for one place, heaven. And nothing compares to Him.